What is up, everybody? Hi, I'm Ditto. Nice to meet you over the internet. Wow, that makes it sound really creepy. Hey, what's up, guys? I am Ditto. I'm really excited for this video. I think that was the cheesiest thing I've ever done in my life. Hey guys, it's Ditto. I have an exciting video. Hey guys, it's Ditto. This week's video is a little something different. I wanted to do this for a really long time, and you guys finally just kept requesting it like crazy, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this because I felt good this week and I really wanted to get into this before I got too lazy, and I was really feeling it, so here I am. Round of applause for the unlazy. This week I am going to be doing a tutorial for you guys, which is probably also the cheesiest thing I've ever done in my life. But I don't care because I wanted to call it that and no one else has, so I've really been excited to do it, which is the other reason I wanted to hurry up and do this before someone else took my cute little title. I wanted to tell you guys about tutting because I love tutting and it is something that I love to incorporate into my dance style, and you guys are always asking me, you know, what are some tips? How do I do this? How is that? This is that. And I love that you guys can ask questions because, I mean, everybody has questions. Even I have questions, and I have been doing it for like 5 years. So basically, tutting, you automatically think of King Tut and you think of people like doing this dumb dance. Well, it's somewhat like that. So tutting consists of 90-degree angles, and there's styles of tutting where it's more revolved around 1, 2, 3, 4, like stuff like that. That's quicker, and then there's styles of tutting that kind of, you know, that kind of have a different flow to them. So there's lots of different flows to the way you tut, and this tutting is always 90-degree angles. Generally, people get creative, and that's cool too. But generally, the basics of it are 90-degree angles, boxes, like, you know, rectangles, squares, things like that, and usually arms, because, I mean, if your legs make squares, you do you, but mine don't. I originally started off tutting when I saw one of my big brother's friends. He was a breakdancer, but what he would do is, you know, like, he would be breakdancing, but then when he wasn't, he would always show me this one set, and it was like this. And I thought it was the coolest thing in the world, and something like, I don't know, I don't remember it fully, but it was something like that, and it was just so cool to me, and I saw it and I was like, what the heck are you doing, dude? He's like, oh, this is tutting, and I was like, what are you talking about, you know? And eventually, from seeing him do it, I thought it was the coolest thing, so I started adding on to the set that he had taught me, and I started like branching off in it and playing around with all these cool things I thought up in my mind, and then I realized that people do this. Like, there's tutorials everywhere, there's people doing this in battles, it's a thing, like, that's crazy. So I started seeing all this stuff, and then my teacher Dizzy had saw me tutting one day, and I was so shy to show him, and when I finally did, he happened to be really impressed and wanted to teach me more about it, and then my style started branching out to so much more. I started learning how, instead of making things 2D, why not make it 3D? You know, I started learning about that, I started learning transitions, I started learning home bases, I started learning all these different things. And that's a little bit of what I'm going to talk about today. And of course, by making this video, I'm not trying to say I know everything about tutting. I'm not trying to say this is the only way to understand tutting. That doesn't make any sense. Everyone's learned a different way, but this is some of the stuff I learned, and I think it's beneficial to share that for some people because, like, that's what's nice about having all these different tutorials. Some people, you'll be like, oh my gosh, I totally understand what they're saying, and some people would be like, what are they saying? But someone else totally understands it. So I just wanted to give you guys another option to learn out of, because I think tutting's a great thing, and I want to spread the movement, and I love being a part of this tutting culture. So let's get right into it. And of course, there's tutting, which is tutting on a bigger scale, and then there's finger tutting, which is with your fingers. So, you know, you make boxes like this, and you make other boxes, and of course there's people that don't do boxes, and that's awesome too, because at the end of the day, you know, tutting can be illusions, tutting can be isolations, tutting can be so much. So there's a million things you can do with it. Alright, first thing you want to do in tutting is be clean. I'm going to be honest, I would much rather see somebody do very simple things and still be clean with it, instead of trying to do these crazy, hard, impossible things and not be clean with it at all. If you can do crazy, impossible things and be clean, I'd much rather see somebody do something clean and simple, because it can still be portrayed to be super dope, even if it's simple, if you do it right. So I would suggest to make sure your body is ready for tutting, which makes it sound really funny, like you need to go like work out to like, what I basically mean by that is, you know, do some drills, do some stretches, things like that. I would suggest doing this sort of thing. I used to do this a lot. I used to always stretch like this. So basically you would take your right arm and then you would take your left arm and put it under, and you would pull down your wrist with it, and I rest my head on top because I'm lazy. You feel a strain right here, and this is so that way you can do angles like this. My angle isn't even perfect, and I've been training it for 3 years every single day. I'm not even kidding, it's ridiculous. But I mean, some people's hands are different. Some people can't hit this angle, but some people have this angle on lock. It's different for everybody. I have small hands, so I have other struggles than people do, and then big hand people have other struggles that I don't have. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to stretch your wrist so when you do tut for a long time, or you do get heavily into tutting, you're comfortable with it, you don't get tired, you don't get uncomfortable, you don't get cramped. That's the worst thing in the world. I would suggest that for whichever angle you're struggling with. You know, go like this with your hand and see which one is hard for you. This one particularly for me, this is the easiest thing in the world to me. This is a little more difficult because it is not perfectly straight. It should look like this. We can all have goals. Another thing you can do to be ready for tutting is, I refer to them as drills because they get this right here, and this right here, and this right here comfortable with tutting. So I would do boxes like this, and this, and this, and this, and I would do things like that. And I would repeat them for like a 4 to 5 minute song sort of thing, just so my muscles are so used to that repetition that 1, my arms become comfortable in that angle, 2, my arms build up the tolerance to have my hands up in the air a lot when I'm dancing, because I hate to get tired and then be like, man, screw tutting, it's too much work on my arms. You know, like, it's better if you just invest in it early, and then you'll be comfortable doing whatever it is that you want to do when you start tutting. Another question that pops up really often when it comes to tutting is, how do you freestyle? I also freestyle my tutting. I mean, I still have much more work to do. I still train every day. I still bust my booty to get better every day in tutting. But doing my tutting is freestyle. So to do that, you have to be comfortable with a lot of different positions, or else your body will not know where to go. So my suggestion for that was to basically have a few combos that you know, and then play around with them. And once you have that muscle memory of the combos, like if my combos are do 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 do, and then my combo is do, then I know I can go do boom 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 boom. Like I know I can go do 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 do. Like I know I can play around with it to get to different positions that I have in my other combos. So once you have all these different combos like in your memory files, if that makes any sense, once you get comfortable with all of them and you can do them like nothing, you know, try doing like, okay, combo 1, boom, combo 2, boom, combo 3, boom, and then say, okay, let's go from 3 to 1, let's go from 1 to 3, let's go from 2 to 1, let's do them in reverse. Like whatever it is that you want to do, you can play around with that, and next thing you know, you'll be creating brand new sets, you'll be able to freestyle stuff. It becomes second nature the more you do it, but when you have muscle memory, you can sit there and you can do anything with your tutting because you have that muscle memory. Your arms know where to go. That's why I would suggest doing drills in certain positions, because then your body will get comfortable with it. Also, another thing with tutting is how I had mentioned, you know, having all these different sets and these different combinations that you do, and then mixing them together and playing around with them. That all comes into having a home base. And when I say home base, I do not mean doing it in the same house all the time, because that's not what I mean by home base. See, if you watch tutters right now, if you watch anybody who tuts, you know that they have certain angles or certain positions that they always go to when maybe they're about to start, or maybe they're about to end off, or whatever it is. If you guys watch me, you know that I love this. I think this makes me look like the Cleopatra, like, you know, I feel like that makes me so cool. It's just something I like to incorporate in my tutting, and I can go a lot of places with it. When I'm here, I know that I can go here. And when I'm here, I know that I can go here. When I'm here, I know that I can start waving. You know I can go into so many different things from it. So that is definitely one of my home bases, because I can go into a million different ways, a million different like styles, so many different things from it, because I have that one home base that I'm extremely comfortable in. Make sure it's something you're comfortable in, something you can do very easily, something that has a cool kind of vibe to it, I guess. Like, don't be like, this is my home base. That's like super awkward. I mean, some people this is their home base, some people this is their home base, some people this is their home base. What was it? I met somebody, they had like the weirdest home base ever. For a while, my home base was actually this, and it was very uncomfortable, but it was very weird. But that was my home base. This is some people's home base. This used to be my home base actually, because I know I could go to so many things from it. So you get those elements the more you start tutting. Overall in tutting, you're going to want to do some things before you start getting really into it, or as you get into it, you can implement these things. And my dogs are barking again. They're going to do this in every video I record. You're going to want to make sure your angles are clean. Some people do this, but I mean, everyone's hands are different. Everyone has to deal with different struggles when it comes to making sure your hands are nice and flat and all flexible and stuff. So you're going to want to make sure you find stretches for your hands that work for you. I suggest stuff like this, or stuff like sitting like getting on your knees and pushing your like this against the floor, or maybe going to the wall and doing this and holding it for a good 30 seconds. Don't hold it for like a minute. That's going to hurt, and I'm going to feel so sorry for you, because I used to do that and I was just like afterwards and it just sucked. So what I would suggest is definitely make sure your body is prepared for tutting as far as angles and stretching goes, and as far as drills go, so you get comfortable and you don't get tired and your arms are comfortable with these positions. Also, I would make sure you have a home base or something you know you want to incorporate into all of your sets. This way you have a comfortable position that you know you can always go back to when all else fails. This way you can be comfortable in freestyling and you'll never run out of something to do, because you know no matter what, you can go back to your home base. And I would also make sure you have multiple combinations that you create that have your own style to them, your own vibe to them, your own whatever you want your tutting style to be like. If you want it to be a lot of outside tutting angles, make some combinations with all outside angles. If you want it to be finger tutting, make some combinations all about whatever it is that you want your tutting style to be. Definitely have combinations and then play around with doing them in different orders. Also make sure you have the muscle memory of them, so you can do them quickly, you can do them slow, you can do them in slow motion, you could do them however the heck you want. I would just suggest learning some basics, making it your own, and then studying the living crap out of them, and you'll be good to go. These are just a few things that I suggest to people starting off tutting or trying to understand tutting, or what can help them become better at tutting. I will also be doing tutorials in the future of more advanced tutting, some combinations, finger tutting, things like that. Comment below which one of those you guys really want to see, because I've heard a lot of requests for finger tutting, advanced tutorials, stretching tutorials, tutting with musicality, like all these different things that I'd love to talk about, and I'd love to answer your guys' questions on. So if you have any more questions, I want you to write them down in the comments, and I want you guys to write down in the comments what kind of tutting tutorial you would like to see next. So comment there, give this a big thumbs up if you love tutting just as much as I do, and I will talk to you guys there. So thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I will see you all next week.